Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make our Holiday Weave Baubles. These coordinate with our Holiday Weave stockings, throw blanket, and tree skirt, and they're done in the moss stitch. So the yarn that we're using is Wool of the Andes bulky weight yarn. Now I have used scrap bits that I had left over from making the blanket and the stockings. So if you are making the entire collection, you'll have scraps left over in order to make these, or just purchase the colors that you would like for your tree. Now you could also swap this out for some yarn that you just have in your stash. It's a really quick and easy pattern and a perfect way to either cover up old Christmas baubles, or you can just pick up these fillable baubles from the dollar store, so really inexpensive. And this is the size that I'm going to be showing you in today's tutorial. So if you measure the diameter, this is 6 centimeters and about 2.36 inches if you're measuring it this way. So that is how they're listed on Amazon. I have linked these if you can't find any at your dollar store, but if you do have a dollar store, they are inexpensive to pick up. But also I have linked the balls on Amazon as well. The pattern will also include the larger size if you want to cover up the larger size ball as well. Now, if you want, you could add some extra embellishments to the bauble. So you could add some ribbon. You could add some nice velvet. You could go with red, black, green, brown, really whatever is going to match your home decor. So if you wanted to add some little ribbons to the ornaments, you could easily just use a little bit of glue, use a glue gun, and just glue that there to add a little bit of an embellishment to your bauble. So you could also add a little bit of twine if you want it to have maybe a little bit more rustic appearance. You could do a little twine bow, and these supplies you can just pick up at the dollar store. So the craft ribbon, $1.25 at the dollar store, and this is about 3/8 of an inch in width. I'll be using a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook for this pattern. So first you're going to decide your main color, and if you take a look at these different ornaments, the bottom color is the main color, and that is carried throughout the bauble. So this one here, we start it with our white, and then the white is carried up through, and then we have some other colors added in. Now remember, you could also do this completely in a solid color as well. You don't have to change out the colors if you don't want. So for this one, I'm going to start with white. So I'm going to make a magic ring. So you're taking and wrapping the yarn around your fingers 3 times. We're then grabbing that first loop on our finger. We're going to pull it through and chain 1. Now I'm going to work 12 single crochet in the ring. So we're going to take our tail, start to tug, only one loop is going to pull in. So that loop that's pulling in, we're going to grab it. It's going to pull the other loop in and make a nice tight join. So now our first single crochet, we're going to do a reverse slip stitch to join. So you want to keep your working yarn here to the front of your work. You're going back to front through the stitch, then you're yarning under, twist your hook to get it into position, and pull through and chain 1. Now we'll work 2 single crochet in every stitch around. So we're increasing from 12 to 24 stitches. Okay, so now when I'm changing color, I'm going to go through my stitch as normal, slip stitch to join, and I'm going to change out to my next color, and I think I'm going to use some of the Camel. We're going to pull that through. I'm going to chain 1, and you want to give this tail a tug to tighten that right up. And I will single crochet in the first, chain 1, skip the next single crochet, single crochet in the next, chain 1, skip the next single crochet, single crochet. So we're chaining 1, skipping a stitch, and single crocheting in the next. And you're going to do this all the way around. And now you should be ending with 1 stitch. You're chaining 1, skipping the last stitch. We'll reverse slip stitch to join. I only want to do the regular slip stitch when I'm changing color, but this join actually hides the join a little bit more. It just doesn't work as well when you change the color, so I'm going to alternate between that. So we're going to pull that through in our reverse slip stitch, and we're going to chain 2, skipping over that first single crochet and work a single crochet in the next. Chain 1, single crochet now in the chain 1 spaces. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain 1, chain 1, work this around. Now here we have dropped off the white because we're going to be picking it back up again. We're not going to cut the main color. We're only going to cut our other colors. So I'm going to finish working around, and I'll show you how to change back to the main color. So I've single crocheted in the last chain 1 space. I'm going to do a regular slip stitch to join now because we'll be changing color. So pull through, then we're going to cut color A and bring in the main color again. So you're pulling it through that loop, but we want to make sure we pull this loop nice and tight. I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet in that first chain space. Chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 spaces, chain 1, and work this pattern around. Now this time we're ending with a chain 1. We're going to slip stitch to join, regular slip stitch, and I'm changing now to the next color. I'm going to use green. Any color you want though. We're going to chain 1 to get this secure, and then make sure that you're pulling that white tail. You don't want to see any of the stitch there. And we're chaining 2 to skip over that first single crochet and then into the chain 1 space. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. Okay, I'm going to work that around. So I'm ending with a single crochet. I'm going to reverse slip stitch to join. I'm going to bring the green working yarn to the front, yarn under, and honestly, if you just do a regular single slip stitch is fine. I just find this does sort of hide the join a little bit. So we're going to chain 1, single crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, and continue with the pattern around. Single crochet, chain 1. It's a really fast, easy stitch. Once you get the hang of it, we're just alternating at that beginning between chaining 2 and single crocheting in the first. Then whatever you start with, you end with the opposite. So we started with a single crochet on this round. And we're going to end then with a chain 1. And this time we're changing back to white. So we're going to do a regular slip stitch to join and then switch back to the white. I'm going to chain 1 just to get it secure, and I'm going to cut the green. So now we need to do another chain because we're skipping over the single crochet. So I'm going to complete this round and then I'll meet you back up to change to the next color. I ended with a single crochet. I'm going to slip stitch to join, and now I'm going to go to red. I'm going to chain 1 to get that secure, pull my tails tight, and single crochet in that first chain space. Chain 1. So I'm going to work up these 2 rounds in the red, and then I'll meet you back up again. Okay, I have my 2 rounds of red. I'm going to slip stitch to join and change back to our main color of white. Pull that tight, and I'm going to chain 1 to get that secure. Now what we can do at this point is get rid of some tails. Unless you just want to shove them inside, that's fine, but it's better just to get rid of them. And I like to give the starting one a little weave back in the opposite direction. And that just takes a second to do that. It is pretty secure. Sometimes you can just trim them, but I'm just going to make sure by going back. And then I will knot these ones, and as you can see, we have a pull that we can tie this around, and I am just cutting them. I'm not weaving any tails. There's no point. We can just have a nice secure knot. That saves a lot of time. So the last one, the red, I'm not pulling it too tight on the first one because I don't want to distort my work in any way. So it's just the third one that I really give a tug because I know it's not going to pull my work. Okay, so now that's all dealt with. We can grab our ball, and you can fit this over the ball. And what I think I'm going to do is I am just going to measure this. So this way you'll know roughly if your size, maybe you need to change your hook size if you're not getting a good fit over your ball. So I'm going to give that a little measure across so you can see if you're on track, if you need to change out yarns or hook size. So if we push that down flat, this is going to measure 3.5 inches. And if we measure it this way, it's about 2.75. So I think this is the best way to do our gauge on this. You want it roughly about this size for it to fit this size ball well. Okay, so now we'll put the ball inside. and we're going to work up the last round here. So we're going to do a single crochet in the chain space and a single crochet in each of the chain spaces. So we're not doing any chain one. So this is going to help pull the ball in tighter. I know it's a little fiddly working around the ball. Just take your time and work through each of the chain one spaces. So I've slip stitched to join. Now we're going to fasten off with a long tail. Okay, and we're going to finish weaving to close this in, and you should have enough stretch that it's just going to pull nicely. So you're going to take your yarn needle and then we're going to weave through the front loops only. So just going through the front loops, and you can grab as many as you can on your needle, and then we're just going to pull it around. Okay, so as you go around and you pull, it's just going to pull it right in. And then I'm going to continue to do some more weaving. I like to go all the way around one way. And then you just are going to go back in the opposite direction, and that is going to secure your tail. Okay, so I've added the little twine bow, and to do that, I'm going to double up the twine. You can really do this as big as you want, but let me measure this out for you, just so you have an idea of how much I'm using. Okay, so it's about 14 inches. Just gonna make a little bow. It's messy, and it's nice to have it long just so you have lots to tie it, and then we can just trim the tails so they're roughly even. And then I just use my glue gun to glue that right here.